I went into Harlem Rhapsody blind, and I do that from time to time. I like to just read the book and enjoy it for what it is. The only thing I knew about Harlem Rhapsody is that it had something to do with the Harlem Renaissance. Let's get into it. My name is Raquel. Welcome and welcome back. So, like I said, I went into Harlem Rhapsody blind, thinking that I was going to get sort of a history lesson on the Harlem Renaissance. However, that's kind of not what happened. So basically, the book for me is about W.E.B. Du Bois and Jesse Redmond Fawcett's affair. That is the majority of the book. It did give some information on how she helped to make Langston Hughes and County Cullen a better writer. They did talk a little bit about them, about W.E.B. Du Bois starting a record label for Black people. But mostly, I think the book was talking about um, seeing Black people in a different light at this particular time. At this particular time, I think Black people were seen as lower class or second class, not having um, any education, just pretty much being low class. And they wanted to change that narrative. And I can totally appreciate that. Um, but in some places, it made me feel a kind of way because uh, it felt like if you were not college educated, then you were low class, like as though they themselves, this whole little clique, W.E.B. Du Bois and his, his circle of people, they did look at people who did not have a college education as less than. So it kind of played into the white supremacy of it, in my opinion. Um, he, the way he was portrayed in the book really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I did not like uh, his character in this book, and of course it is Christian. Excuse me, and of course it is historical fiction. So I don't know that that is who he really is, or you know, if that's just how she wrote him to be. Jessie, I feel like she was very ambitious. She was probably what you would call a feminist. She did not want to get married. She was focused on her career. So she didn't want to get married, but obviously she wanted to have a relationship, or maybe she just wanted W.E.B. Du Bois for that position. Um, I believe this book is set somewhere around 1919, 1920, somewhere in there. And I do know that this was around the time that women got their rights to vote. And so I think that in order for a woman to have had a position like editor or any very important positions like the one Jessie had, she had to be endorsed by a man. And so for her, that man would have been W.E.B. Du Bois. He was very popular, very well known. He was a writer. He was the co founder of the NAACP. He was the actual editor of The Critic, which is a newspaper that was created by the NAACP. And so she would have needed a man to back her or to, bring her into these circles. And so um, maybe that's why she was okay with having an affair. He he was somebody to be around. I just don't like that she's portrayed as a womanist, but at the same time, or a feminist, at the same time, you are having an affair with another woman's husband. So it kind of seems hypocritical in that sense, because if you're for women, then you're for them all the way around, not just when it fits you. W.E.B. Du Bois, I feel like he was um, a chauvinist. I think he was maybe an elitist. That's just the way he came off to me. They did, like I say, show her helping Langston Hughes, County Cully. They also mentioned Zora Neale Hurston. I did notice that they only mentioned her one time, but they mentioned some of the other people multiple times in her work. Like, these seem to have been her favorite people. I also feel like um, Jessie uh, liked or preferred to be around men more than she did women. A lot of the time, she was spending time. They talked a lot about different people that she met in the circles that she ran in, but it was still a lot of men in connection with her. I can only assume that she was probably a beautiful woman, and I say that because um, just being in the circles with a bunch of men. And I also think that, well, let me say this. I did a little bit of research, and what I did find out is that County Cullen was a multiracial or biracial person. So was Langston Hughes. So was W.E.B. Du Bois. So was Jesse Fawcett. So a lot of these people were either biracial or multiracial people. And I say that to say that um, they were probably of a lighter complexion and received those light skin privileges. And so that's another reason why they were in these circles, another reason why they possibly look down on other people. So it is a lot going on in this book. The book for me was okay because I think it would have been better maybe if I read the synopsis and found out what the book was about. But because I went in thinking that it was going to be more about the Harlem Renaissance, and come to find out that it's more about this affair between Jesse and Du Bois, um, I was a little disappointed, just a little bit, but not enough to think that this was not a good book. It was a good book. It just wasn't what I thought it was going to be about. So when I had a chance to sit with it for a while, because I read the book like last week or something. I finished it sometime last week. And I had some days to sit and think about it. And the more I think about it, I think the more I like the book. And I think that I like the book um, because of the different, just the different things that were happening. Just some of the little things that I was able to figure out. And whenever I'm reading historical fiction, I always go in and see what other information, go in and see what other information I could find. And this one was really interesting because of the other facts that I was able to find. So those are my thoughts on Harlem Rhapsody. I did actually buy the book. I have not even opened it. I bought it after I read the book. It was a library book, and I was gonna read it with some ladies, But after I read it, I decided that basically I didn't want to read that book with these ladies, um, based on the content. So we are gonna be reading Good Dirt instead. And so I am looking forward to that. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, see you soon.